I'm LaRie.
And I'm Nik B.
Listen, we're just two single girls from the City of Roses discussing all things love, lust, and perception.
And roses are a symbol of all things beautiful about love.
But as you know, love can get a little dirty, so we're here to talk about it.
Dirty Roses Podcast starts now.
Hey, I'm LaRie.
And I'm Nik B.
And welcome to Dirty Roses Podcast. Well, today we have an interesting topic.
One like nothing before.
Never had this topic before. And our guest, I love her.
I know.
She's amazing. So we met this young lady, this young woman, this amazing profiler of crime scene, crime-ridden stories, everything. Chronicles. We actually attended a conference in North Carolina. We talked about that in our recap. But we went to the Empowered Podcast Conference, and this amazing individual was one of the
she was a presenter.
The presenters, yes. And so she was talking about her experience with creating controversy online to gain her following with her amazing show. And she's here, the host of In Killing Color. Look at this beautiful face right here. In Killing Color, Miss Candra Howell. How are you doing, boo?
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Yes,
snaps. I love it. Oh my goodness. So I actually fell in love with your personality during your presentation at the Empower Conference. You were amazing. I loved how she talked about the controversy that you created by being snarky online and how it worked for you. Like I know a few people that it works for, not me, because I get in my feelings real bad. If you say something back to me, I'm gonna be mad. But I love how you took that, ran with it, gained your following, and then ran with it for your show, which is an amazing concept. So tell us about your show.
Well, we are approaching year number 3.
Ow.
In Killing Color.
For those of y'all that can't see, she's got a really great backdrop. It's
I'm gonna go off.
There you go.
There
so for those of y'all on YouTube, you can see this amazing backdrop, logo, all of her insignias.
Couple blood shots there. Yep, I see it.
You just gotta let everybody know what type of time you on when they gonna go.
Right.
But yeah, no, I just maybe like 3 years ago, I just randomly started listening to crime podcasts. I don't know what put me there. I don't know how I got there, but I started listening, and I'm one of those girls that's like, if I see something, I'm going to Google it and be like, ooh, let's see what these people look like, because you probably shouldn't be killing people and you look like that. So
not you got to be attractive to kill people or you got to be unattractive.
So it really depends on the case. So when I hear the case, I used to listen through the whole story and be like, let's see what they look like. And so I would look at it and be like, oh, but then the more I kept looking, I'm like, where are we? I know we do stuff because we hear it every day, but it was just kind of like, I didn't hear anything. I couldn't tell.
It's so weird. So I listened to quite a few episodes, and I had to stop listening because you got real graphic on a few of them. I was like, Lord Jesus. But you talked about the desire to want to see Black serial killers, or at least have their stories highlighted. But I liked how you worded it, because you were saying if we don't highlight them, their victims are also not being told, their stories aren't being told. And so that was like a really informative moment for me, because I was like, we need to hide these Black serial killers. But
But I also feel like, statistically speaking, are there as many Black serial killers as everywhere else or everyone else?
TBQH, there's probably more.
Really?
But I guess if you go based on the textbook definition of serial killer, the textbook definition is you have to have unalived more than 3 people, like not at the same day. So a mass shooting does not count.
Okay.
So there's stipulations.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Every other day.
At least. At very least.
A variation of days. But so when I started looking into that, and I was like, I literally sat on my computer and Googled Black serial killers. And obviously we know the first one that came up was the DC Sniper.
Right.
Which I will probably never talk about him, because to me, he's not a serial killer. He was a
But
terrorist. That's what he's labeled as.
but he killed multiple people on different days. But isn't that the definition, or at least a definition?
It is. If we're gonna be technical, technically he is.
Okay.
But based on news and all the information, he was kind of like he was a terrorist more so because he didn't just kill like one or two people one week. He killed like 5 or 6 people a day.
Oh,
True.
Jesus.
Gotcha.
But so rumor has it though, and this kind of fits into our topic today of deadly love, right? The rumor is that he killed all those people as a cover because he was really trying to kill his ex. Was that true? I know we're not going to talk about him, but we're talking about him.
So maybe it might have been true about the man who like groomed him to kill people, but Leigh Malvo was like 15. I don't really think,
Okay.
and he was from Haiti. He was an orphan. He came up here. Long story short, he ended up with Buddy, but there was really no way. The shooter was not. No,
Gotcha. Okay.
the other man, if you get into it, he's done like manifestos. He's done all these things saying, "Oh, I hate the government. I hate this. I hate."
Oh, okay.
It was more of like I don't want to do it, but I got somebody that I can get to do it.
So just so that I have a better background of you, do you have a background like in criminal justice? How did you develop a passion for reporting these specific stories?
No, I do not. My background is in marketing.
Okay.
So, long story short, I had a best friend, have a best friend, had. Me and her used to watch 48 Hours, all these things together. So, maybe, matter of fact, I'll tell you the date September 19th, 2022. I saw her. She came to, I had a pop up shop, and she came, her and her man. That was the last time I ever saw her.
Oh.
Maybe in February of 20, whatever February was after that. I saw her, and I started getting text messages, and they were just kind of weird, kind of not in place. And I was like, I know how we talk. We've been talking for years, and this is not how you sound. And then maybe 2 weeks later, I got a text from her mom that was like, she's missing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, because she was a jokester. So we just thought maybe she just like ducked off, was trying to not be involved in nothing. And then it was real. So me and two of my other friends got in this group chat. Two of the other people that were really close with her, we started like investigations on our own. Like, it sounds bad, but I never cared. I told the detectives, I hacked her email, I hacked her everything that she had, her iCloud, I hacked it all because I needed to know what was going on. We found these things. We found property locations for this man. We found, a long story short, we didn't hear anything from her. It was a year and a half. I was at work. I got a phone call from the detective, and she was like, "Yeah, we found her. We found her skull on the side of the highway in Georgia, probably about 5 or 6 miles away from his house." So they set him up by putting a drawing on the news, like, this is a missing woman. And if anybody knew who she was, the picture looked like her, but it looked like her as a Hispanic woman. So they were stopping people in a traffic stop. He got stopped. He got arrested. So he's currently still sitting in jail right now.
Who was he to her? It was her boyfriend?
He was her fiance. But he was also still married. And so now for me, when they had the bail hearing, maybe 6 or 7 months later, his wife was like, "Oh, my kids have PTSD, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "But girl,
so does the whole victim's family.
You're probably involved too, because your man is out here driving a car that is not his.
Oh.
He had a whole nother residence that was not only his. property records show, if you really would like me to get to it, your man had these properties and you wasn't
Mm.
involved in it. So he didn't get
Oh,
bail,
so she
but
knew.
at this point, there's no information. But yeah, she
So you say that he's still currently sitting. Has he been sentenced or is he still waiting sentence?
he hasn't even started trial yet.
Get
Oh,
out.
wow.
What's the holdup of over? It's now been 2 years.
I don't know. She when because I still talk to the detective because after a while I was the only one she would talk to out of our friends
Oh.
because you know, everybody else was a little bit more emotional, and for
Mm.
me that's why I was able to. That's why I'm able to get into these cases like this because I'm not emotional about stuff like that. I'm just kind of like, well, what's the tea?
These are the facts. Yeah.
So was anything that you found in hacking all of her stuff, was any of that used to help find her? Like they used that? Oh wow.
So we you know we that's why the main reason why me and my friends share our location now is because of that. But
Facts.
we went in her email and we found she had a brand. We knew everybody knew her email was Cheer Girl 7, so she cheered in high school. So
Okay.
when we saw the emails that was a whole nother name, we were like, that's weird. So we went in there and there was some Uber receipts from her last location, all this stuff.
Mm.
And so we saw it and it was just kind of like, well, this is where she last was. So I lied and called the place and I was like, I'm a detective and I need.
Wait. So that actually brings me to another really interesting question I have is how are you getting all this information, this detailed information about cases that are not,
Right.
that the general public is not as privy to? How do you get this?
A lot of the times, a lot of the cases I get literally from Facebook. It's weird. People will tell their whole life on Facebook.
Mhm.
And Candra has been on Facebook since Facebook started.
Okay.
Facts.
OG.
Hey, 2005 and 6, right? Okay.
Right here.
Listen, you had to have a college email to get on.
Yes. Yes, you did. I think mine is still linked.
I would message the family. If I see a case and I'm talking about something, I'm messaging them, heads up, hey, I'm going into the comments because the further I'm a like digger. The further you get into the comments, the more you'll find out. You can if you continually I've spent hours going down a rabbit hole. That's how technically broke into this whole thing with crime podcast because my friend was friends with Shanquella Robinson, right?
Oh.
So
Okay.
she texted me and was like, I something happened. So when she told me that, I went to that, and I just kept digging. But at the time, nobody had heard about it. It hadn't come out yet.
Oh. Oh, so you were like amongst the first to have all the details.
Yeah, so I was literally
wow.
one of the first one or two people to even speak on it.
So for people who are not aware of this case, can you share a little bit about that case?
So Shanquella is a hairstylist from Charlotte, and she went to Cabo with her friends for her birthday, and she never came home. They found her. I. What am I supposed? How am I supposed to talk on here? Like, what can I say?
Girl,
Dead?
as
You can
freely
say
as you
anything
want
you
to.
So she was dead. In the villa.
She gotta say it. She was dead.
Y'all listen. Y'all
I know, right?
I know, right?
She had died.
But the thing that I was able to get from my friends that I was not able to get from everybody else was my friend. One of my friends is friends with one of the people that was there,
Oh.
and they saw the phone video.
Of the fight.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
But they told me I couldn't post it. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to talk about it. So the more I talked about it, that was right when I had first started up on TikTok. And I think I went from like 100 followers to like 12 or 13,000 within like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Like 2 weeks.
Wow. Because it was a hot topic. I mean,
For
the
a
whole
while.
watching the friend group beat up their friend, and then the friend disappeared and didn't come home, and nobody knew anything.
And
That
everybody was
just
kind of
insane.
nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they were at the club. Like I posted a video maybe a year and a half ago of the girl getting beat up outside the club. Like now
Jeez.
I've heard from one of the people that know that girl. That girl has left and she's in Jamaica. She's not coming back.
Oh yeah. See, Diddy should have followed suit.
He didn't move fast enough.
Diddy should have been in Bali.
He should have left back when they were raiding his house.
He should have slid his little ass on with that baby oil all the way to Jamaica. Sweet. just going. So what is like the wildest like deadly love story that you've heard or researched? Oh, she's like, I got this.
I would say the wildest one was this lady. I can't remember her name because I've done so many, but I remember the details. She was with this man, and they had 2 kids or whatever. So long story short, they had a little thing. They had like a little card party at their house one day, and then they went home. They were both hammered. Came home, got into an argument, fought. He pushed her over. She hit her head on the glass table, and she died. Okay.
Cool.
Sounds realistic.
But
She said, but what had happened was.
at which point, he then got her oldest daughter at the time, who was 12, to help him pick her up, drag her into the room because he didn't want the other kids to see. And then the next day, which was Christmas Day, he takes her, puts her on the couch,
Now he sets her up for presents.
puts a pair of shades on her, sits her upright, and has her sitting there while her children are opening gifts.
I cannot. Were they tossing gifts to the mom? Like, here, mom, this one's for you. How did that go?
I would actually hope not, because I don't want to laugh because it's a terrible situation.
that's
But
not
that
funny. God,
has
I'm
me
laughing.
cackling
We're
on the
horrible.
inside.
Oh my gosh. So, okay.
That was Shawty Low before Shawty Low. Because they drove that man to all the strip clubs. Okay, we're not supposed to laugh about this. This is not like...
I don't mean to make it funny, but when you set somebody up to open Christmas gifts, like, that's wild.
But see, this is the thing. That's how my show started doing what it was doing, because, yeah, it's fucked up, but there's something funny about that. And a lot of people...
We going to hell.
We are. I'm driving the bus. I ain't got a seat to drive the bus, so it's okay.
But it's like...
So, in your research of different cases that you've had a chance to kind of dive into, what would you say the most common reason for romantic killings are, or killings that are based behind relationship and love?
Rejection.
Yeah.
Sometimes
And
infidelity, less times than not, it's less than infidelity. It's mostly rejection, like stalking, rejection. Like, we was together, let's break up. It's not working. No, bitch, you about to stay with me. No, I'm not. Well, you'll die.
Damn.
Wow. Well, I know normally we start these episodes and we have stories.
I had none.
I do have one.
Oh.
Not one that I was like...
Bitch, who you kill?
I ain't killed nobody this time.
This time.
No, but so maybe
the white side of her coming out.
Maybe like 10 years ago or so, I used to work at a hotel. And at the hotel, I was the night auditor. So I worked by myself overnight at the front desk, checking in late arrivals, running reports, audits, all that. And at my hotel, at that hour, was only myself and the one maintenance man. This nice African guy, you know, I didn't understand him half the time.
Sounds bad already.
But
Was he conflicted?
he was conflicted. So I am working with this man for a couple months, and you know, we interact a little bit. I need towels. Can you bring this to room this, you know, whatever. Nothing more than that. And then one day he's no longer at work. So I'm asking, whatever happened to Mr. Man? Where is he at? How come we haven't seen him in a while? They're like, you didn't hear? No. So allegedly, he and his wife were going through a divorce. And she was prepared to take the children. They had 2 small children. And he decided that if I can't have them, neither can you and neither can anybody. So he killed his 2 children. And he was able to kill his 2 children because he was first fighting with the wife who was trying to protect them. But he ended up either pushing her into something. Somewhere in this brawl, she hit her head. And she was completely unconscious and actually in a coma at the time that her children were buried. So she couldn't even go to their burial. Damn. So mom is in the hospital in a coma. Both children, unfortunately, are unalived. And Pops is now in jail. And I was just like, yo, and I was working with this man by myself. Oh, it was terrifying. But that's my closest example of working with anybody in that capacity.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's definitely giving for colored girls. And you know what I'm talking about.
That
Yeah,
part.
no,
yes.
for sure. Definitely giving ledge. And so that's why
Fucking bitch. I swear to God.
it gave ledge. But that's kind of where my question was going was, do you see that most of these passion crimes, are they around power? Are they about, you said rejection. So I didn't know with this guy if it was only rejection or if it was also the power struggle of you can't have them, they're mine. So
I mean,
it was interesting to me.
There's a lot of that in the, well, if I can't have you, nobody will. Like, that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I ultimately think that the majority of crimes that revolve around like relationships and stuff are crimes of passion, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the heat of the moment, like, yeah, maybe I might go upside my husband's head, like, you ain't
Oh, I got another one.
Bitch, shut up.
I do have another story. Okay, so
I'm so concerned.
when we're off air, I'm gonna give you names because I need you to research some stuff for me because I got more questions about
when we get off,
case.
get on my FaceTime with either phone.
Yes.
She got 85 phones. She said, I got
So
2
no,
phones.
another one was a friend of mine who I grew up with. He was actually really close friends with my younger brother. So we grew up together as kids all through probably middle school to high school era. And
do I know this person?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
So this person would stay the night, and he was one of my brother's best friends. Eventually, he and his family moved. They used to live nearby here, but they did move. And we found out maybe 5 or 6 years later, Justin, hey, how's your mom? How's your dad? They're like, well, mom's in prison because mom got tired of dad and went upside his head with a hammer last night. And I'm like, who are you? You think you know somebody. But that absolutely happened with a close personal friend where mom, I don't really know what was going on with the parents. That's why I was like, we need to do some digging here.
Man,
I don't really know how they got to that point.
The 2 degrees of separation between you and murderers is making me very uncomfortable right now.
We really want to get into separation degrees. I'm probably at like half a degree. I have lots of stories.
Of people you know personally that these sort of passion crimes have happened to?
Quite a few.
Wow. So it happens more common than not.
Oh god.
It really does. It really does.
What do you think most people snap trigger? Because you say it happens so commonly, like I can't fathom, but
I think it's like more of it's not the actual, like the cheating aspect, because a lot of us can talk about it, get over it or not. But I think it's more of the I'm about to leave you thing.
And that's that rejection piece you're talking about.
How dare you cheat on me and then you're going to leave? I don't think so.
Right. You can do one or the other, but not both.
Facts.
You can cheat on me. I might kick it. I might have a conversation with you, but at which point you're actually not about to go be with that girl. Like, I'll kill both of y'all.
You can cheat on me, but you can't leave me for the person you cheated with. Like, that's the whole thing.
No.
Yeah.
And I do think that, I mean, in majority of the stuff, like, it's just kind of, but a lot of it, when it comes to the serial killers, a lot of it is, like, sexual deviancy. honestly.
So how many of those happen during sex? Like, are there like the strangulations and I guess it's asphyxiation.
First of all, I can't imagine about ready to get one off and then you just die because they're
feel
tired
like-
of you.
I feel like Law and Order SVU has made a very good point to have that be a common theme sometimes. So
God.
let Ice-T tell it. Somebody's getting asphyxiated.
Yes.
Yes.
With a belt, usually.
But how often is that?
I mean, of the stuff that I've researched and looked up, a lot of it is not like oh, we're in the act of it and choke, die. It's not that. But it's more so of like after we've done our thing, you can't tell nobody, so you gotta go.
Oh.
It's like
Do you have an example?
yeah, I do.
Okay.
But of course.
I do. Her name this was old. This was probably one of the oldest cases. This might be the second or third oldest case that I saw. And her name was Hannah Tabbs. And this took place back in, it was in like New Orleans. It was in the late 1800s.
Oh, okay.
She was dark-skinned lady. She was a baby from some rich white dude and a black lady slave. And the lady was like, well, I can't keep the baby. So they ended up giving her out. Long story short, she ended up in Louisiana and she met up with another man. They got together. The man was white. They were together, and then she decided to get on with another man. It was a younger guy, and he was like Creole or something. So he was like light skinned, blah blah blah. So she brings the man to her house.
Be the problem.
Mm-hmm.
She brings the man to her house. They do what they do, and she's like, "Hey, you gotta get ready to go, cause my husband about to come home." And he's like, "Huh?" So husband comes home. Hannah is like, stay out here to the husband. She goes back. Yank, 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 yank. Dead. Dismember.
To the dude that she just messed with in the back room?
Mm-hmm. Dead, chop up, yank, yank, yank. Wrapped him up in brown parchment paper. Threw his ass in the river.
Parchment paper? I bake with that.
Because the meth ain't meth. And so her husband came home and she was like, hey, baby, stay in the living room. And then she went, unalived somebody, chopped him up, wrapped him up, took him out back in the river, and the husband's just in the living room.
And the husband's just sitting on the couch waiting
Wait,
to
gag about the whole story. She made her husband take him out.
So the husband knew what was going on. He listened to all this take place in the next room.
So there was
and
the
then
point
helped
of
her cover
killing
up.
him.
He knew that Hannah
What was the
wasn't
point of
getting
killing
no shit.
him?
He knew Hannah wasn't about nothing. He knew she was trash.
Damn Hannah.
But
Hannah wasn't
Hannah
shit.
must have had something.
She had that gawk.
She had that hot
What do you call that in the
blood.
1800s? The gawketh.
The swallow. That's probably what it was, with a TH at the end to make it 18th century.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it took a while. It took maybe like 2 or 3 years before the body to show up. And then, let me show you. Here you go. This is what Hannah looked like. Here,
Uh-oh.
God dang it. Sorry. My nails too long, child. Here go Hannah.
Oh, okay. Hannah,
Oh, well, first of all, Hannah's giving face.
right. Hannah's giving.
There she is.
Hannah said,
Madam
get into
C.J.
it.
Walker's client.
She was a client.
She was definitely a client. She was getting that hair laid, and
It's giving whatever the girl that created the perm. She was with it.
she said she was about that life. She said she done burnt her head up a little bit too much, and so now she mad.
But
But
the
the
gag
the
was,
lie was in
Hannah
the
only
room.
got like 10 or so years, like maybe less.
Do you know why? Like, did they explain her sentencing, why it was so light?
They ended up giving the man,
Her husband,
yeah,
because he's a man and so he's looked at to be stronger and more capable one,
mm-hmm.
especially for that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yo, he should have left her. Like, if I was the husband sitting in the living room and I'm hearing slashity slash slash, I'd have been like, it's time to go.
But what
like,
white-
we don't stick around.
What white man in the 18th century was going to take the fall for a black woman killing another black person?
Wasn't he? He was Creole, right?
The one that was getting that mouth.
Swallow.
And that was getting that.
She sucked his soul out of the body.
The soul was gone. If they had Cash App, he'd send it at that point.
So
$40.
how many serial killers are actually women?
Funny you should
Most
ask.
of them? Okay.
There, according to my information, the last time I looked, which was last year, because I still have a whole list to go through, I counted 372
Wow.
black
And
women.
black
women. 372 black women.
That is here, like America, Africa, like globally.
Oh. Wait, so you study international crimes as well?
I
Ooh,
do.
I want to hear. Okay, this is going.
Do you want to hear something about a lady from Africa?
Because I was like,
Yes, she does.
I did, because I was like, what spear did she throw at Jumbuku?
So there's
And
one
why?
thing I have. It's the episode. I'm not sure what number it is, but her name is Clementine Barnabette. She was from Ghana, and she was a like a princess, whatever. Long story short, she used men for sex, and then after she had sex with them, she killed them, fixed their bodies, and used them for furniture.
That took Black Widow to a whole new level.
And she was
What's
like,
up with- she was 17.
How many did she kill by the age of 17?
based on what I saw, the last time I looked at it, it was like 25.
And these are all men that she slept with?
So all of them were trash, basically. She was like, your dick is whacking, your dick is whacking, your dick is whack.
But wait, hold on. Her
didn't
body
happen
count
if the-
at 17 has like quadrupled mine at 41.
That just means she knows what she wants out of life, and it wasn't any of them. So,
It wasn't
I
any
feel like I
live
said that on the show. I think
She
I
what?
said that on the show. Like,
yeah.
she said,
Wow. But did they say why into furniture? Was that just how she was disguising them? I mean,
she would use them as like furniture prior to them being dead anyway.
wait a minute. What is she like? Just sit real still? We're gonna make you a couch?
Get on their all fours and arch, and she would sit on their damn back.
Oh, that's kinky.
like
That sounds like some
dominatrix,
kinky stuff.
BDSM type. Like
There's a
BDSM in
side
Africa.
table.
That's
Yeah.
a
Like a
whole
little
new
nightstand.
level of.
She has some kinks and freaks, clearly.
Did she skin them? Like, did she rub the lotion in and gets the hose again? Like with the skin? Like, what did she do? Like, she turned the skin into leather on the couch, or
She didn't pull an Ed Gein. She didn't skin and use as covering. She used the actual body.
Were people sitting on said furniture? Like, come over to my home, have some tea, pull up a chair of person.
At this point, it was like 1700s in Africa. Nobody knows.
oh my goodness,
That's crazy.
And she was a princess.
But there's record of this. I mean,
There's
obviously
definitely
there's
records of it.
something.
You can definitely look it up. I'll send it to you when we get off. Absolutely.
Interesting.
I think you've made my co-host a new serial killer interest.
I'm intrigued.
I'm concerned.
I'm absolutely. I mean, it's always interesting. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But I mean, much like you, I think that there's a hint of sarcasm to me, and then also just being emotionally unattached to the story.
This is
it's
why you're
interesting.
single. She's emotionally unattached, and she relates to serial killers.
Well, not really relates. It's just they're fascinating. The understanding the whys behind some stuff is
Exactly.
fascinating.
That's my main thing. Like, I just really want to know, why would you do that? Like, what were you going through that was like, you know what? You finna die.
Well, that's like I'm still stuck on the woman at Christmas time, like sitting there with glasses on in the dead of winter, opening up gifts with the kids, and she's not here.
We watched Weekend at Bernie's way too
No,
much.
I think I just found it. I just can't. Oh, here it was. Her name was Zazelle Preston.
Ah, and those kids are probably still in therapy today.
If not killing people.
That was the one who was sitting on the couch
Yes.
at Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, that's so sad.
That is sad.
So I also had found a picture of her, the crime scene photo of her sitting on the couch with the glasses.
I need to see that because I
No.
feel like
I'm gonna give you her email address because I don't want that in the Dirty Roses inbox. You send it directly to her.
In my head, while I was talking to my producer, while we were talking about it, I was like, and I felt bad after I said it, but it was just kind of like, I don't know what else to say. It was giving very much Weekend at Bernie's.
Right.
We agree. I just want to know, like, did the husband think that
he didn't want to ruin Christmas?
He didn't want to. Yeah, he was like, I know I killed mom,
that's
but
what
Christmas,
he said.
but Christmas is still on.
He said that in his statement. I didn't want to ruin Christmas, so.
But you had your 12-year-old pull the dead body to the bedroom first,
right? So if nothing else, she knew.
So then the 12-year-old's like, yeah, bitch, open this Christmas present for mom. Like,
to Tammy from mom, allegedly. I can't. I cannot.
What?
I mean, I could literally do a 12-part series on people that I know that have unalived somebody and that are in jail or dead right now.
Like people that you know personally.
Personally, like, and when I say personally, I'm not talking about like, oh, there's somebody that used to come to my job. No, I mean like ex-boyfriend. I mean like friends from college that I had a close relationship with in college. Yeah.
Oh.
So I have a question about the word unalived, because I feel like only in maybe the last 5 years, handful of years, am I seeing the word unalived more than someone was killed or someone was murdered. They'll say they were unalived. What is the political purpose behind using that language?
That's basically so we don't get our videos taken down.
So you can't say the word killed? Man, it's going to get taken down.
So here's where it's like murky, because when I first started, like, I would see people saying, and mostly unalive at the time was about self-unaliving. Okay. I saw that on TikTok, so I was like, okay, I can see that.
To avoid like conversations about.
Right. Okay. But I took the word and was like, I like that. I'm gonna start saying that, because I feel like when I looked in the comments, because I'm gonna look in the comments. The comments, everybody was kind of like, "Oh, don't say that. That's a terrible word." Blah blah blah. And I was like,
"That's what it was."
I said, "That's a controversial word. I'm about to say
it." See,
can't tell me nothing.
And it worked for her. We about to unalive this shit right here. We just start saying this shit. Mic drop.
It ended up working.
Okay. I wonder, are there geriatric episodes of murder and love passion crimes?
Hold still, Ethel. Oh, like that.
Like maybe, Mr. Biggs like came out with his cane sword.
I could just see Bob shuffling over.
Uh-oh. Just so y'all that can't see this, y'all are going to need to go and watch this, because she's showing examples.
You know what? So I know I have my little background on, so it's probably not going to show up. However, yes, I do have one. There was a person, a transgender man. I don't want to say anything wrong, but
man to woman or woman to man?
Woman, man to woman.
Okay.
They.
I think that
they. We're just gonna put a button on it.
But for me in my research, it's giving she, because that's what she said. So Marceline is she. So the name is Marceline Harvey.
Okay.
So Marceline Harvey went to jail in 2015 or 16 for murder, of course. But Marceline had already been in jail for murder for 20 years prior to doing that. Marceline,
how many years?
20 prior to.
Came out.
Gets out at 76 or 77 years old.
She ain't learned no lessons.
She gets out. So this is gonna be a gag. This it's not. I hate to say that, but that's what it is. So
the visual of a drag queen at 70 killing people right now is just killing me.
She meets. She goes on a app and meets some people, friends, whatever.
Oh, that's where she went wrong.
With this white lady. She meets the white lady, has the white lady come back to her little apartment in Brooklyn, whatever. Long story short, a couple hours later, Marceline comes out with a little bag, heads to Home Depot. It's whatever. So she's riding around Home Depot in a fucking hover round, like.
Oh. Wait, hold on. The scooters?
For the elderly and disabled?
Correct.
Oh.
In the hover round.
It was fully charged.
So a whole day goes by. Whole day goes by, nothing happens. So the family of the lady reports her missing, and they're like, "We ain't seen her in a couple of days." Blah 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 blah. So the police pull up the CCTV. So they see her, Marceline, and the lady going into the apartment. They see Marceline coming out with a flour bag. 2 days later, they found the flour bag maybe 4 or 5 blocks away with a fucking head in it. And then they look around a little bit more. 2 blocks later, it's 2 goddamn legs in there.
Did you say 2 boxes later?
2 blocks.
2 blocks later. And then there's some legs in there. So then they're like, that's that same bag we saw. They go back in the house. The rest of the body parts are in the house.
Oh my God.
And here's the gag that made me laugh.
I cannot close my mouth.
I felt bad. I didn't want to laugh, but I had to. When I mentioned that she was on the hover round, she was on the hover round in Home Depot.
Right.
Buying trash bags, circular saws, blah, 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 blah,
I need this.
the same floral bag that had said head in it in Home Depot.
I just see her with her cane knocking stuff off the carts, put it in, like, I need that. There, give me this saw.
But don't forget, it's got to be a glittery cane because she was a drag queen.
It was a gag. Of course, she went to jail. She's never getting out.
Well,
She got like 20 years, but she was already like almost 80, so.
She got another life sentence. How you do life, come out, kill life, and then go back and do life again?
But that's the gag.
Yeah.
That's the part that like gagged me. Like you was in jail. You had a life sentence. You did your 25 years, got out,
Did it again.
and did it again.
She didn't learn nothing. She wasn't reformed.
I am.
She missed her
hollering.
friends.
She said, "I just wanted to," but she didn't know that lady.
She missed her
So
friends in jail.
Okay, so she had did it say a motive behind this particular individual? Why they were
Felt
like
like doing it.
Now she just had the need.
She just wanted to do it. There's a lot of serial killers. There's just a lot of serial killers based on my research that just do it because they just feel like they just want to fucking do it.
So then does that go back to mental health issues? I mean, like if you have an urge, it's a mental health issue. Well, I mean, no, not even just like that, because some people like have a craving for cereal.
Name one person who killed someone that ain't had no mental health issues.
No, I'm not saying. What I'm trying to understand is like, is it a craving? How we're like, ooh, I'm in the mood for ice cream. I'm craving ice cream, or you know what I mean? Like, is it normal to have a craving to kill somebody, or is that in fact
It's
a
a
mental health
lot
issue?
of serial killers that have killed people that did not have mental issues. They did it just because they felt like
Right. That's kind of what I was trying to say.
But my thing isn't impulse control still like a mental health disorder of some sort. That's like an impulse issue.
That's not impulse when you are rolling at 7 miles an hour down aisle 3. That's not impulsive.
That's as impulsive as Myrtle could get, or Merceline. That's about as impulsive as she was impulsive enough to get onto the scooter, and she had the little tab was like pushed all the way up.
She thought it through.
And she backed up, and she was like, beep, beep.
She knew she wanted the flour bag versus the one with stripes. She thought it through. She did back up a few times. She missed. She probably asked for directions around Home Depot because let's just be clear, it's not easy to find.
Baby.
Thank you. I don't know. I need help. Okay. She thought that through. That was not impulsive.
But that's crazy.
The actual killing
psycho
was impulsive because that shit came after the person was already dead.
Right.
Oh, so she bought the stuff to
hide the body.
So that's the other thing. From what I've read and heard about people that are mutilated is that it is not easy to cut a person up. Like, how strong was she?
I've heard.
I mean, she was a man.
I thought it was a woman to a man.
Prior to.
Was it a woman to a... Oh.
Stabbing somebody feels like when you cut into a chicken breast. A thick one.
That's what she just... Okay, so are we talking about like this way or like...
We're talking about like this. Either way, if you doing this or you doing this, you know how... y'all don't...
Well, cutting into a chicken breast isn't very hard. I make my salads and I saute my things.
But you have to take that chicken breast and add ribs on the outside.
And bones.
Getting through bone.
Or unless you're cutting
and cartilage.
Or like a something. You have to consider there's the chicken breast, but there's also the protective ear on the outside.
Oh, yeah. That's gross.
So that means force. That means
she's strong.
Aggression. But it's a 70-something-year-old man. You know old niggas is strong.
Okay, so it was a man to a woman.
Crazy old people are fucking strong. I feel like you're gonna be an old serial killer because you're gonna wait till you're like 80 and be like, I've always wanted to do this shit. Come here, chicken breast.
She said it was like chicken. I don't eat meat now, but I'll cut some up for you. That's what I'm gonna say.
And you're not gonna have no teeth while you do it either.
I don't eat meat, so it's all good.
I do think there's a lot of like older people, and when I say older, I mean like the old men that are like 75 plus, especially the country ones. I definitely think they've definitely unalived somebody.
And they have all this time and opportunity to do it.
These old men, ain't nobody gonna research this. It wasn't no DNA analysis, wasn't no dag glasses, science lab. It wasn't nothing. It was just farm.
Lord have mercy.
So at this point, if we're exporting tobacco, the tobacco probably had bodies up under it, so you smoking that pack.
Oh my God. They was doing that straight opium.
Think about it.
Right. Well, listen, we could probably sit here and talk for a whole nother hour.
Oh,
because
God.
this has been the fastest hour that I think we've recorded.
Yeah.
I just looked at the clock and was like,
oh, dang, we're over already. We might have to have a part 2. Like
part 2.
We can do a part 2 because I got more stuff. I can talk about my personal things, my personal involvings in people that I know that have killed people.
First of all, when you say personal involvings, were you the one shopping at the Lowe's? Is that your personal involvement?
I would never go to Lowe's because they have closed caption TV.
Okay, I can't. If people want to find you on social media, how can our viewers reach you? There she slides.
Look, there she goes.
You can find me on all social media platforms at In Killing Color, one word. That's it.
That's it. Look at that. Everybody who's viewing it, you can see it right here on the screen. And she got a cute ass logo that looks like the old In Living color.
I know.
It's such a play on words, and I love it. I love it. Nik B, where can they find you?
Yes, well, if you want to reach me, I can be found, of course, on all platforms for Dirty Roses Podcast, but you can also find me specifically on Instagram at Nik B _Nik B. That is Nik with a K. And Miss LaRie, where can we find you?
I mean, y'all can find me everywhere, but right here in this building, you can find me here because the Poetic Justice Foundation gave us this nice space for us to use to record our podcast. So we have completely taken over their space. We've brought in our props and our sets. We took their videographers and made them ours. We've taken the stuff that was in the building and used it for props too. So, shout out to David Ferguson, who we call the Popcorn Poppy. Popcorn Poppy. But the Poetic Justice Foundation does amazing work. They're creating sustainable wealth for the Black communities through education, outreach, and action. If you want to learn more about their mission and what they do, check them out at thepoeticjusticefoundation.org. You can donate so they can keep doing good work like this. But in the meantime, if you ain't here, you can find me on social media. It's Leigh LaRie, LeighlaRie, and of course at DirtyRosesPodcast.com, where you can listen to all 4 seasons, catch up on what we've got so far for season 5, leave us a review, a voicemail, feedback. If you want to donate so we can keep doing this too, holla at your girl. Do something strange for a little bit of change.
Go out for the guap.
We got our madam over here, so she'll take care of us. But thank you again so much for joining us. I love it.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we'll see you at another podcast fest, and maybe we'll see you for part 2.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Love you guys. Oh, I don't know why I said that. Don't want to kill you, but bye.
Guess what, Rose Buddies? We are thrilled to introduce our new sponsorship packages. Be sure to hit us up at dirtyrosespodcast.com to inquire how we can showcase your brand on our platforms.